Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace, and today I went to take a blood test. Adam went with me. He's a little older than I, and the blood test was supposed to be done, over a month ago, and it was supposed to be done through my PCP, of one I went back to, and somehow, I finally somehow they, just trying to make this short, is they screwed up. And they didn't send that one test for anemia. And which kind of anemia? They did not send it to the blood place. When I went down there, they didn't have the whatever they send. It's not down there. It's just down the hall. They didn't send, what is it called? Send that test to take. They said for me to come back. Oh, okay. I mean, I knew I was going to have to go back because they messed up. And it was already with the specialist I see, not connected to that PCP. The specialist's office has been messing up they've been messing up since I've been with him, I would say. And this sometime last year or the year before. And they're really screwing up. I've been waiting on a medication for a month now. And they said they'd have it right away. They kept screwing up. They kept sending it to the prescription to the wrong place, to the wrong pharmacy over and over. And their actual corporation called them. They work. These are doctors that are part of the insurance company. They called them and said, "Hey, look, this is what you're supposed to be doing." They once again send it to the wrong people. I mean, round and round and round. Okay, just unbelievable. Me having to call, me having to, and I try to stay out of it as much as possible because let them figure it out. It just keeps going and going and going and going. They're screwing up. And it's not just me. I read the reviews at some point, and for that doctor, and they don't complain about him. They complain about his staff. And I believe them. I believe all those reviews. I don't like it when people say, "Don't trust those reviews. Anybody can write them." Well, anybody that works there can write good ones too. Think about it. Patients go into detail. Think about it. Go to one of them and see what happens. Then think about it. I don't care if anybody thinks about it or not. I'm not telling you what to do. But really, seriously, don't do it just because I said that. Oh, I was just being sarcastic, but really, seriously. And so I called them today because I didn't want to ruin my weekend. I had written them Thursday. I did not want to ruin my weekend. I wasn't going to check the portal at all. I sent through the portal. So today there was nothing. I checked. So then all of a sudden I got these texts, a whole bunch of texts from the pharmaceutical company. The pharmacy they were supposed to send it to, not the pharmaceutical company, but the pharmacy they were supposed to send it to. I still don't know how much it's going to cost me, because the first person that told me, another woman that worked for them, said, "There's no way she would have told you because, that." I said, "She told me this." Calling me a liar? Really? I mean, unbelievable. I said, "She told me $90.39. That's what I wrote down. No, they wouldn't know. She said, "No, it's more like $500 a month." I said, "Did you know that they have these things they call them coupons that they put on them?" Well, yeah, but see, the incompetency of people working for these places. I am serious. And it's not just this one. It is not just this one. This one I on because I got on that insurance, which the insurance is good. The insurance pays a lot. I mean, the insurance is a good insurance. It's the people who work in these places that are not good. It is. I am very serious. Not all of them, of course, but the majority. Oh my! I've had one of them that kept screwing up before. A totally different doctor, different even specialist. And his office kept screwing up, and they're gatekeepers. You can't get past them. And what they said was, if you want to get it all straightened up, you need to make another appointment. I don't think you can do that. I'm fairly certain you can't. because no, patients shouldn't. Oh no, I used to do medical billing. I'm fairly certain it could have changed, because I just noticed something today that changed. It wasn't about billing, but it was about something that's medical that they never had tests for before until last year, till 2025. Wow, I was amazed. I just looked it up right before I started making a video. But anyway, oh my head was spinning because of what all was going on with these two different doctors' offices. Now, I'm not really upset about the one doctor, the PCP. I went back to her. I was seeing her in 2024, and when I was in the hospital that one day, a nurse there told me that I should see this other doctor, and he works for, he works within a group that they're partners with the insurance company. However that works, that's something that happens a lot here. I don't know about other places, but different insurance companies and all that. The other one, the woman that I was seeing in 2024, she is just in network. So she's but with this one, I like the doctor, the PCP, the doctor that they sent me to, but his staff, no thank you. And another doctor that works there, and the nurse, no, no, period. I mean, seriously. Oh, I could go on about that. Oh man, oof. But so I went back to this other one, and yeah, for whatever reason they didn't get the order for that one thing, but then it said there that I need to take this test, and that's how I saw it. And when I checked it last week, and so I sent them a text to a different portal. These are different. There's the one that's just in network, and sent through the portal, and then they came back and said, I could come back in and take the test at my convenience. I did not need to make an appointment. The one with the insurance, oh no, it's all appointment only, and and the appointments aren't just right away. No, they're going to be. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to return of last year. Last year with all of this was so bad, so very bad. Like over 40, I'd say around 40 appointments that I had, the providers canceled, and they had their staff call me and tell me that I needed to reschedule because the doctor or the nurse had to reschedule, had something better to do. Yeah, and you see, while I'm changing doctors again, the ones that are in network, not ones that are partners or however they do it. They're in that group. No. So anyway, oh my goodness, this has been like, so anyway, I did call I got that text to get back to this part about the medication I've been waiting for my rare health condition, and yet the specialist's office staff just cannot get it straight. They keep sending the prescription to the wrong pharmacy, different pharmacies, they're not sending it to the right one. Well, I called them today because they just sent me a text, and not the doctor's office, but the pharmacy. And I called them because they sent me a text saying to call them at this number because they need to ask me something. And I called them at that number, and while I was on the phone with them, they were sending me more texts. And the guy that I spoke to said, well, you actually they should have sent the prescription to this other department there. I said, well, can't you send it to them? I said, why do I need to be involved in the middle of all this? They called the actual pharmacy called them and told them where to send it to. Why did they give them the wrong place to send it to? My gosh, people, do your job right. Seriously. And he said, well, you still have to call them. And then, so I called them, and you know what? It's another problem. You'll have to call back tomorrow, so we're going to have to try to get them to send it to the right. And if they can't send it to the right, to us, on and on. I mean, sorry, I'm raising my voice. I'm just flabbergasted. I'm just, what the crap? And I said, look, can you even tell me how much it's going to be? And like, if it's going to be $500 a month for a 90-day prescription, it would be $1,500. She hemmed and hawed and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. I said, no, can you tell me now? Blah, 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 blah. This is like torture, man. I mean, I don't want to, I know people go through actual torture, but this is some form of torture. Because what in the crap are you dealing with? A lot of people who are not doing their jobs. I really honestly think that what it is, I honestly have, and I am a social and behavioral scientist. I truly believe that people are too busy looking at their cell phones. They're taking every chance, every opportunity that they see. Oh, they're on the phone with somebody. I'm gonna have it. That thing people, put your hand on your right side, your palm up, and they're looking. Like they have their cell phone in their hand and they're looking. I see it in so many places. They should be working. They should be doing their jobs, but they're looking over. Like they're being real sneaky and looking at their cell phone and like they're texting. No. People got along. People went to school. Imagine this. They went to school. They went to university, took classes. They survived. They drove back and forth from home to work. And they did not have cell phones. People lasted all those years with no cell phones. Oh, imagine that. They did their job. They actually did their job. They got them straight. We don't have to sit to do this. Today is a month. They're messing up with this prescription a whole month. Just the prescription part of it. That's not the rest of it. The rest of it started, what was it, 2024 for this medication. And this medication, no doctor, no specialist, none of them ever told me it was out. I have a rare health condition I've had since I was a child. I'm 62 and it's been out for like 10 years and none of them ever told me that. I mean, seriously. And then with this doctor, he kept trying to run tests. And he's one that's not in network. He's partner or whatever. And their office, not the one local here, another one that seems to be using my account to test these people. Here they must have heard a lot of complaints because what they do is they run test, and they'll do one test at a time, and there's 3 visits. That's 3 appointments for the patient. One is the initial visit. The second one that's an appointment. The next appointment is for their blood test. It's actually an appointment usually, and then the third appointment is a follow-up that they're supposed to tell what to student. But no, they say come back in 2 to 3 months. We're going to run more tests, and they will spread them out, man. And they were doing that, and well, the short version of that is he, among other ones, I was told that they're doing this wrong, and that is they should not be doing that. I'm just going to say that they should not. And it wasn't me saying that, it was them, and I knew that. I didn't know it then until she said this one was doing this and this one. I was like, whoa. Yeah, I did not know that. I did not know that they were doing that. Okay. And when she told me, the woman that told me, so, and there's a whole story behind that. It's been sickening. So he stopped his testing, because I wrote him, so wait a minute, the test I've already been diagnosed with this over 20 years through one of their hospitals. In the year 2000, I was diagnosed. He said, well, after 25 years, it goes off of your record. I don't care. That's, so in order to do it, of course, they're going to make a lot of money off of the test. One of them being, of course, a CT. It's going to say the same thing, that they have so many of those CTs since then, but they have to run another one. I could just go on and on. I could sit here for probably weeks just talking about what I have experienced with this. Just this. Just this. Just this. Not to mention all the other things. Me asking, okay, the doctor that I switched from, sending a text to the, I went to the urgent care to see if I had one thing. I might as well say what it was I went to see if I had a UTI. I've never had a UTI. And anyway, they told me, they come back with some weird crap saying that, you know, they said that there was nothing, so therefore the test was wrong. It showed nothing was of anything other than usual. It's a urine test. And nothing was anything other than usual, so the test was not a good test. A clean test, they call it. Well, excuse me? And no, they don't mean what you would think. This doctor I went to, I switched back to, she explained it to me and said, oh, okay, I understand. You know, but it wasn't that. They should have been able to, there was nothing. I did not have a UTI. Okay? I did not have a UTI. Period. And the only thing that, from what I understand, is I'm 62 years old. Okay? That's it. I'm not kidding. But I went to the urgent care, and then that crap happened. So I asked the other doctor's office, the one that I had switched to, and his nurse sent me back saying they would not. I said, I want to know how many visits is it going to be? And I was being sarcastic, and they should know it. I was very, very, very professional. I used to work for doctors, and one of them told me, he said, you write better than lawyers. And I'm well aware of it. I do write better than lawyers. I used to do billing, and I'd write them. He said, your letters to these, oh, they're just so professional. They were. They really were. I'm not pat myself on the back. They really were. Okay, very clear. When I write to something like that, it's very clear. So I very clearly, other than what I'm going to say, is that I said, how many visits am I going to need before I can find out if I have a UTI? And she wrote back, and I detailed it. She wrote back saying that she doesn't think that it's the correct forum for her to say. The answer is one. Seriously, the answer is one. One. And I had already done that one. And see, they were already in trouble for running too many tests. You see? That was what the one that is going through using my account to test them said, that my doctors, some of my doctors, not all of them, were running too many tests. For one thing, they weren't paying attention to what others had already done. And there was a case in point right there. She wasn't looking to see, and I had actually put in the text, okay, through the portal, put in it that I had been to the urgent care, and this is what happened. No, they're too busy. And urgent care told me that the doctors, the MA, she probably didn't know that she shouldn't tell me that. She said that they only get 15 minutes. They're not doctors, but they're nurses and, well, nurse practitioners and PAs. Okay. And she told me, she said they only get 15-minute slots for each patient, and 5 of that is for 5 minutes of that is for her, the MA, her or the other MAs, and the 10 minutes are for the provider, the PA or the nurse practitioner. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. How can you know that what you're going to need to do with that patient is going to be 10 minutes or less. And she told me they're very strict about it. And apparently it changed this year. Okay. So everybody's rushing around getting these patients, and they're screwing up big time. I mean, I don't think it's that even. I think these because last year they were messing up as far as to go back to this medication I'm still waiting on. Yeah, they were messing up last year. Okay, year before. So this is only going to make it worse. Is it the same thing for the doctor's offices? You know, I honestly cannot believe how pathetic this has become. Honestly, it's never been good, really, overall. And I'm not saying all doctors, I'm not saying all providers, I'm not saying all staff, I'm not saying all at all. But I apparently had the biggest misfortune in finding the worst ones. My insurance is really good. It is thought of as one of the best. Okay? These are supposed to be some of the best doctors. And then they have staff because they're cheap and they don't pay them very much. So they have the ones that brag about going, what do they call it? Accelerated course, and get it all done in 4 to 8 weeks. No, you need more training. You can't get this simple little thing right. And they walk around acting like they're way up on some totem pole. Oh, man. I don't play totem pole game. They do. Oh, my. Oh, oh, we got your back. We're going to get it. We're going to get it done. A month later. It's a month. A whole month. They don't have my back. And they did not respond to that text, through the portal. The one I sent last week, this is the specialist now. That office did not respond. Instead, I got those texts today from the, so they, in other words, they screwed up again. And then I'm going to wait. And then how long is it going to be? I'm going to wait for this medication. I've waited my whole life practically. And they're going to screw it up. And then they'll probably tell me $500 a month, 30-day supply. It is like, I mean, some of them you just would not believe. And yet another woman, the one I spoke to today for that, she talked over me. I'm talking and she just interrupts and she starts talking and she won't stop. This is the third one this year. The other one was, just a few days ago? Last week? I mean, total lack of professionalism. That person, she definitely, not the one today, but the one last week, she would have been fired on the spot. I did interim office management. She would have been fired on the spot for talking over a patient like that, like she did. And in such an extremely rude manner. And the one earlier this year, all of them. This one today also, you just don't do that. When a patient, the patient is not underneath the totem pole. They don't put them at the patient at the bottom anymore. They try to put them underneath him. And elevate themselves to high up on their totem pole that they erected. No. I don't play the totem pole game. And I'm going to say, as a person who is definitely not new to this world, and not that one either, that kind of world, the patient is always on top. If you're going to erect a totem pole, that patient is at the top of it. It's all about the patient. Why do you have a job? It's because of the patient. I'm not saying if a patient comes in as belligerent or very rude, hostile, unless you cause them that. I know some people say, oh, you can't call. No, they can cause that. I don't believe that crap. Social and behavioral scientists. Yes, people can call, they're pushing your buttons, pushing your buttons, pushing your buttons. A person can go off because it's been too much. You know, that's called crazy making. You know, I mean, this has come up again on as a theme. Recently, I saw it. People talking about. There was a man actually talking about how he was like a military man or something, talking about people who push people's buttons on purpose, and then they laugh when the person goes off. This is nothing new to me. It's definitely nothing new to me. I had a brother with autism. I have a brother with autism, and when we were young, he found stuff like that as funny. And he is a little more advanced. You know, he a little more. Oh, what's the term? He was not diagnosed as autism until he was an adult. Okay, because back then they didn't call it that. But he could live by himself, but it would be very difficult. I'll just put it that way. And but when we were young, we were kids, he thought that was fun to sit there and literally poke me on my arm with his finger. He thought that was fun and funny. Literally poke me. Okay, with that could be a form of it, the crazy making. But usually it's people poking at you, just saying things and doing things wrong, until you go off. And this is me going off. Not really. I mean, this is what I do to not keep it bottled up inside, is to make videos. Because this has been crazy. This is, I'm serious. This has been pure insanity. You know, what they are doing is that they really think this is okay. I'm not saying it's insanity for me. Really, I'm saying they are insane. Okay, there's no such diagnosis. Insanity, and it's a person being insane. But really? Seriously, you can have a lot of things that fall under that, including, which one is it? Schadenfreude. They could be any of them, really. I have to think through them, but there's cluster B personality disorders. They could be. You know, the Schadenfreude is probably what I would say most likely, but it's at the same time, the people with borderline personality. Why is that bug on the outside of my? It's something flying around and bouncing around on the windshield in my SUV. I'm like, is it on the outside or the inside? But anyway, it was not a squirrel moment. It was what in the world is that bug moment? But that flying thing. Insect. Oh, I'm serious. I have to do this. I have to talk about stuff like this because this is insanity. Anyway, they're telling me I have to call back tomorrow. You know what's going to happen, right? I'm going to call back tomorrow, and they're they still. But we got your number. We got your number. We'll give you a call. We'll send you a text. We'll send you a text. And they did that. This is the pharmacy that's supposed to go to. And it was a week. It had actually been over a week. It was a Friday, I think, when I had contacted them before, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. And they said that they were going, to give them time, a few days, by Monday or Tuesday. That was of last week, that they would have it figured out. Well, they finally sent it to me today. And that's because, I'm thinking it's because I contacted to the portal, that specialist, and said, this is what it is, and FYI, just FYI. But right before I still am waiting for this medication. Today is a month. That was Friday, today is Monday. I'm going to call them tomorrow, you watch. It's going to be lather, rinse, repeat. And I really do predict this, that it's going to be $500 or something else that's stupid. And then I'm not going to be able to get it. My whole life I have been tortured by this I'm saying it flat out. This rare health condition, and what is has caused me. And then I'm dealing with people like that. They don't care. I really do think some of them enjoy it. I have been to doctor's office, and it's not just me. I know it's not just me. I know it's not just me who has been through really bad times with doctor's offices. I have seen them. Some of them, they're really enjoying it. What they do to people. They are really seriously messed up people. Not all, but the ones some of them I've seen. I'm actually going to tell one of them. I'm actually sitting here going back and forth in my mind. I turned that off for a little bit. Going back and forth if I want to tell this again, and I think I did one time. But basically, imagine a woman is saying, I only want a female doctor for that. And with good reason, more than one good reason. More than one bad experience. No experience should be bad in that. And the staff, all females, I get there for my appointment, go through, and I see that they're laughing and snickering with one another. And I go in and I come out and they're still snickering because it was a male. I think women can understand why that is bad. Very bad. And they get away with it. It's your word against theirs, this on and on. But I think these are people who are really screwed up in the head. Now, to make a little bit lighter note, in that same office before all that happened, I never went there again after that, just for the record. And this, in that same office, there were two young women. I'm a tall woman, okay. And there were the two young women. They were doing that accelerated thing for, I guess, 4 to 8 weeks, depending on where and all that. And this was many years ago, 20 years ago. And they do the thing with the weighing me, and they had to test how tall, the scales that used to, well, the scales still do this, tell how tall you are. And they said they were two of them, they were both training, and nobody else was around, and they were shorter than me. And they said how tall I was something like, they said 5'8" or 5'9", something. Or no, wait, I think they said it was even lower, because the tallest one, I think she said she was 5'6". And I said, look at me. I said, I'm taller than both of you. And what is your height? And like I said, she said something like 5'6" or something. And whatever it was, they said that I was shorter than both of them. And I said, you do understand what you're writing down is wrong. And they said, yes, but we have to do it. We have to write down what it says. Yeah. Yes, at too many of these places, that's what I run across. Too many doctor's offices, this is what I run across. Because they don't pay them all that much. I've worked for doctor's offices. And they still pay them more than what they really deserve. The ones that I've experienced, I'm not talking all of them. I'm talking the ones I experienced that can't get it right and say, oh, if you want to get it right, you're going to have to call, and you're going to have another appointment with the doctor. I mean, who would even say that? You work at a doctor's office. I'm leaving a message with you. You can't get it right to give to him. You're going to tell me I have to have another appointment to get it right with him? What does he have you there for? Why don't you just let me speak to him? No, they want an appointment. Like I said, I worked in medical billing. I just don't think that's right. I could be wrong. I was worked in the medical billing. I didn't do the coding and all. So I did not do the coding and all that. But I don't really know, but fairly certain that patients shouldn't have to pay, just on a social level then. Patients should not have to pay for incompetent staff of the doctors. Yeah, seriously. Really should. I'm wrapping it up. Actually, before I wrap it up, there were two other things that I was going to talk about that happened, and those were today when I went to take that test, and they were just kind of funny. And I mean, back to back, right there. First to get the the office at the doctor's, the building to get the test run. It was just they're in the same building, and it was more than one thing that happened there. And then the other one was at the store next to it. And I'm talking funny in a, my goodness, see what happens in my life. Adam was laughing too. We were both saying, look at this, just look at it. But also I had a shirt on, and some people in the store, it was the manager and then the cashier, they all said, I really like that shirt, it's so funny. And it said, I had actually had it on yesterday, and then I wore it today because I was just going to go and put it on yesterday, not later on yesterday, I should say. And I just wanted to wear this shirt, hurry up and go to the doctor's office, get this done, come home, take a shower, this kind of thing. Oh, why am I saying so much for just one little thing? But the shirt says, I have no idea why I got out of bed. And, usually it says this morning. And both of them, and it is funny. But today was definitely one of those days when I really, it's a new shirt for me. I usually don't wear shirts with things on them until the last few years. I found some that I thought they were hilarious, that really fit. Another one I have is, sorry I'm cranky, but I'm in my terrible 60s. Yeah, anyway, wrap it up.